everyone, we are live. We're a few minutes running behind because I was running my mouth about my book because I can't shut up. Right, we have a few people waiting. If you are here, you can say hello in the chat. Tonight our format's going to change a little teeny bit. We are going to do 15-minute sprints, but instead of doing the question first, technically, I'm going to ask the question and then you answer it when we come back from a sprint. So that way we don't talk too long before we get the writing done. I actually won't be writing tonight. I'm going to be reading because I have, Alpha for DL Stewart here, and I am also doing an ARC review for A.L. Williams' book. So I have my work to finish because I will be starting on my book's second self-edit in April. So I want to go ahead and get these two things done because they are priorities. I like to do what I say. All right, so I'll let DL go ahead and do your opening.
I'm D.L. Stewart. I write adult medieval fantasy, and tonight I will be working on The Rise of Power in Metagore, which is book 3 in my Metagore series.
Yeah. It's a good series. You guys gotta get that.
I think so, anyways.
Yeah, it's good. Been a long time since I actually read some good fantasy because I actually was away from fantasy a little bit, but I was happy to get back into that. So, as you know, I'm author D.L. Tillery, and I write horror, fantasy, romance, and a whole bunch of other stuff in between, but horror is my gig. My first debut novel, actually, funny thing though, is a mixture of those. So it is more of a supernatural horror, fantasy, romance. So it has a mixture of those things in it because that's kind of what happened with the story. Can't help that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it when I release it. It's still under development. The book is done. An editor has had it, and then I have it back, but I have work to do on it. Plus, then there's like the alpha run, then the beta run, and then getting all the stuff ready to go. So I did really want to have a release date for this year, but I don't know if that's going to happen, especially with all the craziness of the world right now. So that being said, that I am going to probably say a 21 date is probably going to more likely be the case. But we'll see. I don't believe in rushing things, and I want to do it exactly where I want to do it for the launch. So that being said, I'm looking for more a 21 release, and I'm not sure the month that I will go with, but I would like to give it enough time to advertise, of course, to get people hyped. So let us know what you guys are going to be working on tonight in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and read the first question of the night. And let me pull my banners real quick here. And the theme tonight is skills of the writer. You can think about the question because we're going to jump right in our first sprint. But what other skill besides writing do you utilize to help you write as an author, write or be an author? I meant to put. So if you, whatever the other skill would be. So let's say some of us are artists, maybe on site, or maybe you are an editor, possibly, to help yourself get your book to the next stage while writing. And then obviously once you're doing the author stage, as far as publishing, then other skills, marketing maybe, or something like that. DL, you want to go ahead and grab that question, and then we come back, we'll check the chat and see what everyone else said.
I don't really know skill. I'm kind of going about, I guess, that editor type or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was in kind of like an English major in college. I took every English and literature course I could take. I did not get a degree. I didn't graduate. I dropped out, but I did take every one that college had to offer. I was a straight A student in English and stuff in high school and stuff.
Cool.
So I feel like my first drafts are a lot better than a lot of the other people's first drafts I've read and stuff. I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Is true.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, is this the first draft? I was like, yeah, this looks like a third or fourth. I was like, no. I take time, I outline, I know what's going in there. So I feel like I kind of get that in there good.
Yeah, I would say so. When I did get your, because alphas pretty much get like the first draft or whatever kind of thing.
That's what it is.
So, exactly. So I was like, yeah, I know that he has something in college. Like,
yeah, I didn't go for that.
Did something.
I went for drafting and design, which is doing blueprints to houses.
Yeah,
a lot of fast stuff.
Dude, that helps too. I'm sure. Especially that could come in handy for sure if you were doing anything like any illustration for like any landscaping type of thing.
Yeah, I had to do landscaping.
I think it helped, like, you know, when you did the video on like the land masses and stuff and the maps and everything. I think the mindset that you learned from the stuff that you learned there, I think that helps that type of skill too. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, you know, that type of skills are useful as a writer for sure, because you feel a little bit more confident when you give your first draft to somebody. You know, I would not feel comfortable giving my first draft to somebody if it wasn't like I went over it. You know, I started majoring in literature. I took creative writing, but I started, obviously that's part of it, but I still would be kind of like, listen, I don't feel comfortable with this. You know, but not that people care that much when you talk about first drafts, they kind of expect a little bit hiccupy here and there, but it definitely helps when you have some of that skill on you. It's less stressful. I wouldn't imagine having none and then giving out a draft. I'll probably be like a nervous wreck, like they're gonna read this and it's like, what is this person doing? What are they giving me? But I would say for myself, I was going the author side of it, like marketing, because I was in marketing a long time, and then running multiple businesses. I think will help me in the author side of it when I'm getting to the publishing area, because I have that mindset of business already, and the marketing aspects as well. So
yeah, I would say that probably me as well, because I used to rap, and it was like just a small little studio.
Yeah.
And you know, you gotta self promote yourself pretty good. And my producer used to laugh at me. He's like, "You're a shameless self promoter," because I would go to college and put like flyers up and
know about you. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this. Do it."
Right. I know that's all right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the first sprint. Let me see who we have here. We have 5 people here right now. So hello to Sharon. Let's see, Shannon's here. I don't know, actually, it's a Cecil. Is that Cecil? I don't want to pronounce your entire name, and I don't know what the layman's terms of it would be. So it's like Del Cecil. Is that right? Cecil?
I always pronounce it in my head as Del Cecil.
Del Cecil. It might be more together than separated.
I heard a lot of people say Del, so.
Del. Yeah, it would probably be simple. I like to get people's names right. People get my name wrong all the time. They'll be like,
I suck
Danielle. They're like, dude.
I try to pronounce it, quote spell. I don't go like completely.
A totally different name.
Yeah. I make those letter sounds. It just might not be the right sound.
Your name be like, okay, Derek. They'll be like, Eric.
Yeah, my mom's name is Lorna, Lorna. And they'll call and be like, "Is Miss Lorraine there?"
Lorraine.
Nope. Sorry, wrong house.
Don't know who that is. You got the wrong place, person.
Nope.
I'll call you Dal. Dal. There you go. I'll call you whatever I like. Dal. Like Dal Pal. Hello, Michael. Thank you for joining us. All right. You know what? This first question, I'm going to break my own rule and go ahead and just read, because we don't have that many people. So you know what? I'm just going to read before we jump on, because people already done answered it. So because they fast, you know, sometimes they like slow, but not tonight. All righty. Sharon said, outlining my sci-fi story, plan to be drafting for Camp Nano. Yeah, I heard a lot of people going to be doing Camp Nano because they like lapped up still. So they like, listen, I need something to do. So
I'm doing a gauntlet for one of my streams during camp.
Oh, you really? You going to do a gauntlet? Uh-oh.
Yeah, since I did one in December and
trying to take some people down. Take some people down.
Told Aphrodite, she was okay. I'll do it for camp when everybody's actually trying to get more work down than normal.
Yeah, you make it work harder, so those are always.
And I'm not trying to do it that first week when people still like, yeah, I can do this, because later in the month they're like, no, I failed, I'm done.
Yeah, do it early on. They'll fight more. Mike says, I've been paid as a proofreader, and I'm very good at it. I also have a BA in psych. Oh, okay. So that helps a lot. Yeah, I bet. At the tail end, I'm a certified bookkeeper. Oh, hey. So the business end is covered. Hey, got it. Hey, you got skills all over the place right there. So cool. All righty. So if anybody else wants to ask the question, they totally can. If you missed the question, I will put it back up there. It's what other skills besides writing do you utilize to help you as a writer or author? All right, so we are going to hit and start our first sprint. We're going to do 15, so we'll come back at 30, and I will put a ticker up there because I didn't even bother opening up the other screen. So, all right, 3, 2, 1, and right. We'll see you in 15. So back here at 8:30, please. And that's time.
Fucking jumped. Too quiet for too long.
How'd you do?
Let's see here. Oh, shit. I only got 345 left and got me some water and talked to my wife for a little bit.
Cool. I managed to read about 3 chapters. It's not too bad for 15 minutes.
And I decided not to work on Rise of Power. I came back in here, sat down, looked at it. I was like, nope. But I am writing. I started working on The Gift of a Child.
Cool.
I finally got it completely outlined the other day. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be like 13 chapters plus a prologue and epilogue.
Oh, cool.
And I'm on chapter 4, the end of chapter 4.
Good job. Kiana, I said, edited a paragraph and a half. Good job. Michael said did nothing. Needed a break. I participated in 3 write-ins today. Look at you. You're like a write-in hopper, huh? It's like movie hopping, except with write-ins. Alrighty then. Let's get the second question going. Question number 2. In the writing process, do you like doing the first draft, second draft, self-editing, sending the manuscript to the editor, the alpha and beta run, or do you love the entire process? Or do you just like one of those things? Because you can't always like everything. I like almost the entire process except for the editing parts. I don't really care for that part. Oh, and the sending it to the editor is really, really stressful. Like I'm waiting, like I don't like this. So I would say that any of the editing parts I don't really care for. I like all the rest of the stuff, the creating the thing and the first draft and all that jazz. But the editing I don't really like. This is so boring. And revision happens, so that's not always in there. But I did do a revision and that was annoying too. Because I'm like, why didn't I think of this when I did it the first time? Type of thing. You did an outline and everything. You still end up being like epiphany after you wrote the whole damn thing. So, so I would say no editing for me. How about you, Dio?
I would say, well, I like about everything except the first draft. I hate doing the first draft. It takes so long. I'm fine doing editing and revisions and stuff.
Hey, someone has to like that.
I mean, all the hard work's done. That's how I feel. So
I'm like, ugh, I don't even want to do that.
It was like whenever I try to write, I'm like, I don't know words. If the words are right there, oh yeah, I could tweak this.
All right. See, I'm like, it comes out really, really easy when I'm doing the first draft. But then I just don't like going back and doing the whole fix anything type of shit. Because
I don't do the whole. I know some people like when they do revisions or rewrites, they will start like completely blank and start writing again. I don't do that. I go through and just read a paragraph. I'm like, I could word this sentence a little differently here.
That's what I do. Yeah. I'm not doing that. The other thing is crazy. But if my revision was kinda, I'm gonna try to make sure that that doesn't happen again with that type of revision I had to do because the story changed quite a bit. Because when the book first started, I think Cagliostro was it was a vampire story originally, and I was like, yeah. No, I'm not feeling that. At the end, the story developed into something else. So at the end, and then the end of the story that's not even written in books yet, that changed completely. So I had to go back and change a lot of stuff. So that's why when I sent it to my editor, even though I did a revision and then an edit, I still forgot. Like I changed one character's name and I left it in there one time. She found it though, and then I cut something out and changed something else, and then I forgot to add something, and then because of the change, and she caught that because she was like, "Well, why when did her name get announced?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I forgot that at the beginning."
Yeah, I know when I was writing the first book, Zuri, that's Zuri. She started out being like, I picture her about in her early to mid 20s. And then as I was writing, she became like old. And then as I was writing her as old, I was like, no, I want her as young again or whatever. So I had to go back and fucking fix all that shit.
Oh my god, so annoying. I hate
Yeah.
when that happens, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody read that. I was like, why is she young, then old, then young? I was like, that's what I was feeling at that moment. I don't know.
This happens to people. You feel old sometimes, and then you go back and young.
I made sure I went back. I was like, all right, this is what it says in the character sheet. This is what.
Hey, you might have a different way to explain midlife crisis, because midlife crisis means you think you young again, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not. All right, see if anyone else answered the question. So the answer, question number 2. The only process I do not enjoy is finding alphas and betas. It's a trial to find partners. Yeah, that can be. I'm glad I didn't come across that issue only because I have Aphrodite and she's my alpha and I was her alpha. And I have a second alpha too that actually is a friend of Aphrodite's that I knew. So I have 2 alphas. And I think 2 is good. The betas, I may have an easier time with betas because I come from a dance background. So I have on my Facebook friend list, I have probably about 3,000 people about. And I also have a following on my YouTube channel for my dance stuff. So a lot of those people said they'd be interested in reading something I wrote because I come from the dance world. So I won't think I have much of a problem finding betas because I do a beta call and then that's pretty simple. It's probably easier when you have a fan base already, maybe something else that might help too. So I found that worked out really well for me. I think when I first put it out that I was going to be looking for betas, which I will do my beta run this year. And I got like 27, 30 people who were interested in being betas. And then I probably could get more because you don't always end with a lot of betas. Let's just say that. So I definitely understand why that would be one of your things for sure. Dal said, I speak 3 languages, but that's more a curse for my writing. I don't know. I wouldn't say so. I speak 2 predominantly, but I sing in about 8 different languages. I pick up languages really easy, but I'm going to actually be learning Korean and German. So I'll be 4. But that runs in my family. My uncle spoke like 8 languages. So yeah, the high IQ's running through there. So languages is pretty easy for us. But yeah, I can see languages working. That could be a plus, especially if you do any language creations about learning languages. That helps that. He said, my brain has to handle many sets of grammatical rules, and well, I'm not inflammable. That's true. That's good. Yeah, I think that definitely will help. That's a good skill to have, speaking different languages. Especially maybe, one day your book is in like different languages. No problem for you to understand with that. So that's definitely a plus in my book. About the writing process, I'm terrible at editing. That's why we writers have editors. But I just don't like it. Like I could do it, but I don't like it. So yeah, no, thank you. We'll just leave that to DL. Be like, DL, guess what? You're going to edit all our books since you like it. That's what we're going to do.
Pay me.
Yeah, I know you'll be like, I'll be all right.
I'm not going to edit it. I'll work in the edits after somebody else professionally edit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, none of us could do self edits. We'll be like, DL, how about you do some self editing? We'll throw you some change.
Sure.
So you like, sure. Just saw a self edit business. DL, that's what you should do. On the side, be like, don't like self edits? I got you. There you go.
Side business. Quote me on make sure everything's right because it's not.
Self edit don't have to be right.
I was about to say, I'm not a professional editor. I'm an amateur editor.
I'm trying to self edit. You're not supposed to get everything. I'll listen. I'll be your first client. I'm just telling you. Like, take care of this fucking self edit. Yeah, like take care of this right now.
Yeah, she's been looking at some old songs I've wrote. And she's like, "This has got typo and this got." I was like, "That's why I have editors."
Music don't count. That's not.
Yeah, I was like, "That's why I have an editor."
Exactly. I don't have to catch everything, but I gotta say, your self editing skills are pretty good. I was like,
I haven't even self-edited that first draft yet.
I think it's pretty good. It reads really well, so I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, I've read some things that was just maybe not for
I've read some stuff that's worse than what I see in text messages. So yeah.
I was gonna say I did do I was supposed to do a book review, and I mentioned this before. I was supposed to do a book review, and I just was like, I'm not going to do this book review because it'd be bad for the writer if I did it. And I don't believe in doing like reviews of things if it's just going to be a dumpster fire review. And I was like, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And this was like the book ready to go. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Like, I was hard to make it through the book.
If I do like a review for something bad, it's usually just a star rating. It's not like an actual review. It's like, yeah, I'll let people know that I think it's a 1-star book. I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, it was. I gave the author notes though, so hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like an author I knew or something, or somebody had asked me to do it,
yeah, they asked me, because they saw me do. They asked me, so I was like, yeah, but I'll just let them know. Maybe they can fix it before it goes out. I don't know, but of course it was still my opinion, and something's weren't my opinion. The story plot was like I was kind of a little turned off by it a little bit too, but that was my opinion. The other things were not my opinion, were just that. So, and I'm not a professional editor, but I know when I see things. I did major in English and stuff, so I'm like, I could just say that much, and I have a high IQ, so I'm just saying, like, no, like, but yeah.
At one point in time, I knew most English rules. Just
that's kind of if you don't constantly use it. Now, if you're constantly using it, I mean, that's like anything else. So, and you can still be like,
and then I know when I did music and lyrics and stuff, grammar doesn't fucking exist.
No, I mean,
punctuation doesn't fucking exist.
I write poetry a lot. Like that's why I got first published with poetry. And poetry, they can make rules if they would like, but poetry, you don't have to follow any rules. You can be like, bam, bam, bam.
A local writing group, and a lot of them write poetry or children book. I'm the oddball, being adult fantasy and shit. But I took something about some song I'd done at one point or whatever, and one of the ladies like, this isn't, because we're supposed to have done poetry for like a prompt or something. So this doesn't fit the poetry schemes, and this is like, it fits my fucking music that I got for it just fine. So no, it says, why did you put a comma after this word? It makes no sense there. Like, because when I'm rapping it, that's where the pause would be. So, but that's not like actual sentence grammar or punctuation. I was like, I don't care.
You know how crappy music would sound if it followed that?
Yeah, like, if I want to pause after the word the, I'm fucking putting a comma there. Just so when I'm reading it off, I know where to fucking.
Thank you. Like, that's it. Somebody was like, oh, they edit poetry. I was like, why are you lying to people? When you talking about editing poetry, you're going to F it up big time. Like, what you talking about? Like, only thing you should be editing is spelling.
Yeah. I didn't something. They like, these two words don't really rhyme. I was like, you could obscure the pronunciation enough for it to sound close.
Yeah, but every part of it would need to rhyme, because like, even in with rap, you don't need like every word to rhyme at this every time. Like, that's not no. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know. They were trying though.
Like the one that you look at it doesn't, but you actually think how it's pronounced and you break it down into different things.
Yeah.
I like Eminem, and one time he's talking about people say you can't rhyme orange with anything because it doesn't rhyme. There's nothing that rhymes with orange. He's like, you break orange one syllable down to two, orange, door, hinge, this and that, whatever. It's like, you can fucking make it rhyme.
Listen, yeah, Eminem is like,
it's like, you gotta fucking tweak
he's like on his own level. Like, Eminem was like, I can listen to him rap all day. Like, Eminem is crazy good, dude. Like, he did that song with Yao Wolf. He did like 3 songs. He did like 2 songs.
He's my best friend.
Yeah, I love Best Friend, man. I have all the Yao Wolf and Eminem mixes. Like, oh my god, those were good. Like,
yeah, I got the album of his. That's the only album of Yellow Wolf I got. But
yeah, that's the only
one. He did the song Twisted. It's Eminem, Skylar Grey, Yellow Wolf.
Yeah, that was good. I usually don't listen to a lot of rap, but only rap I listen to.
I know you rap, listen to Eminem. I listen to some underground artists that I found on Facebook or something.
Yeah, you can find some people that's going like, no. I used to listen to like Japanese rap. Like there's few rappers in Japan that I listen to. And then Eminem being like one of the main ones I listen to that's like in English, obviously. I don't really like many back in the day, like fucking old the fucking dudes like who made rap and then completely transformed into not what they were doing back in the day. When I was a kid. But yeah, those guys kind of paved the way. But Eminem is just a whole nother like how does this motherfucker get that many words in that breath? Like you try to like
I
mimic
can do
something.
that if I try. I did do that one
Oh, it's
time.
crazy though. Like if somebody can pull that shit
Yeah,
off, like you get that many
it
words,
takes a
and
lot.
this shit is like that. He's not joking, though, man.
Yeah,
He's for serious. Like I can't believe people try to comfort him like when he first came on the scene because obviously being a
people
white
still
guy,
do that.
but that's still bullshit though. Like if you got the talent and skill, I don't care about the color of skin. That's just straight stupid.
Yeah,
I hate that when people do that. So like, but he was like, I'll show them, and he did. I respect somebody who like people try to come at and
it's
they show
word
you.
play and play on words and double entendres and triple entendres and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love fucking any kind of double or triple entendre.
Actually, if you put Eminem in your song, like it's going to sell. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like he's a rapper you should go for. Like a lot of those people, they do like they pick rappers to go with their like pop song or whatever. And I'm like, why didn't you get Eminem? What are you even thinking? Like what you trying to do? Ludacris is good too, though. Like I
Yeah.
don't just like Ludacris. He's pretty good too. But Eminem is like the guy. Like I love Eminem. All right, so I'm gonna read how many more comments we got. We don't have any more comments, so I'm gonna go ahead and read those, and then we'll do the sprint. So I just broke my rule, like, cause I don't
That
care.
rule starts next week.
Rules are meant to be broken. This is true. Yeah, I try to do it because then if we chat a lot, then it can mess up like our sprinting time, and people like the sprint. You know what I mean? But that's cool too, though. But actually, my time doesn't always have to end like starting next week. Next week, then my time is like I can go past the 10 something mark because I don't have to take my brother until a little bit later now, actually. So that actually helps. So I don't have to run fast. So Shannon says, fed the chickens and ducks and stoked up the fire. Oh, cool. That's pretty funny. It sounds like a poem about Star. Watch out. Yes, question 2. And then it's a gamble if they'll even read it. Oh, yeah. That's true. You're talking about the betas, like when
Yeah, I think
you
I
get the
had like
betas.
20 betas starting
How many?
out.
How many did you have when you started?
Altogether, I acquired 20. I might not have had it at the very beginning, but over the course of it, I had 20 different people. I had 7 at least reply to the first chapter, and then I think I actually finished with like 3 that read all of it.
Damn, for real. I guess fantasy might be harder too because of the length of them.
Yeah,
People
plus the
just
length
fans
and the
off
number of
right.
characters and everything in mine.
Yeah. So I might be okay too because my book isn't long end of it. So it's probably only because I have like a I forget the word right now, but it's like a glossary. It's going to be in the book. Also, it's going to like a companion within the back of the book to explain like the veil and all that stuff to people. And actually, the opening of the book, I changed it instead of the epilogue, which was very very short. I was going to go with just a poem that's about the veil, so that explains that a little bit too. So the book is probably going to be probably on the hardback. It's probably going to be like over a little over 200 pages, so it's not going to be very very long. And then softback will be a little bit thicker because it's softback and smaller. But you're looking at like 200. I'm thinking 210, 215 pages probably for the first book when it's in hardback. And when you go ebook and softback, it's gonna be more pages, obviously, the size and all that formatting. Um, but yeah, which I think is fine because it's a series. It's not like a one hit book. So once all of them come out, then I can put them into a compilation. Then you're gonna have like a lot more to read, obviously. Now, somebody like me, I'll finish that in no time because it's like 200 something pages. But not some people still slow readers even with that. So some of my people might be okay with that. He said me.
Me?
Yeah, I'm not usually when I take longer, it's because I must be super super busy, and not have much time to read. But usually once I get into reading chapters, like when I send you those chapters, DL, I had just read those because I had started and then I had to stop because the work was getting crazy. But usually I'll sit there and read like 17, 20 chapters at one time, and then we
Yeah,
go
I know
on.
you read like fucking 10 chapters that one week. I was like, hell, it'd take me like 10 weeks to
Yeah, I'd
maybe
be
read.
like, like when we did the sprint 15 minutes, I read 3 of your chapters.
Yeah.
So I'm a speed reader in most cases and still retain everything. So yeah, I get through the book. If I get time to sit down and read a book, I can sit there. Actually, I used to read probably like when I was heavy reading all the time. That's all I would do. My extra time, I would read probably like 10 books a week. So I would finish books. So all my books in my library are complete except for probably about all the newer ones I bought. So I probably have about 150 books I haven't read out of my library 5,000. So um, I have a lot of books. To me, that's a lot. I'm behind. Not to mention I have ones on pre-order of R.A. Salvatore that just released new Drit series. So I have books and stuff that I'm have to catch up on. But I'm very into helping my author community right now. So if anybody asks me to do a book, I probably will take it on. So that's why the other stuff is on the burner. Michael said, the only part I get really stressed about is sending it to an editor, which I understand. I did not think I would get stressed about that, Michael, and I did. And I let to help tell you now, I don't get stressed about anything that is relatable to that type of thing. I get stressed about regular life stuff, but I do not get stressed about when I do well or like when I perform, get on stage, never get stressed at all. I send my freaking manuscript to my editor. I'm stressed. Like before, I'm paying this person to edit my book, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. When am I get it back? When am I get it back? I know when I'm getting it back. And I still say like, when I get it back, when I get it back, very, very stressed. And like I said, or in my case, sending to a publisher for consideration. That, oh my God, no, I wouldn't even want to do that. Like that would be cool, but I really would want to do that because if I was stressed when the editor had it, I definitely would be like freaking out if a publisher had like waiting for them to consider me. Like, no, gonna go with a no. I enjoy drafting and self editing. Yeah, I love drafting, but like I said, I don't really care about for self editing because I kind of like, can we just skip this part? Can I just get somebody just to completely edit everything and me not like send it back to me? Because I'm completely still a little confused about the whole editing process. Like when I send it to an editor and the editor edits it, right? And of course, they're not me. So obviously, some things they wouldn't be able to do, but it's like I'm expecting them to do that. So my editor, when she was like, she did the edit and she sent me the entire edit version, but and when you have it in Word, it comes back like, rather some murder scene or not. Red line and stuff. It tells you what she deleted, what she didn't, and then you got the version that's without being in Word document. It just shows everything, just edited. It's fine. But she had the notes and stuff in there. And then one part I forgot, like I changed the character's name and she was like, oh, I'm assuming this is probably Catherine, but her name was Delata originally. And you left Delata in this part and it probably was supposed to be Catherine. I'm like thinking like, yeah, you did figure that out. Then you probably should just changed it. Like I paid you this money, so I'm gonna stop. But that's what I'm thinking. Cause I don't know. This is the first time I got my book professionally edited or first time I've ever paid anybody to edit anything. Cause it's the first time I get my book out. But I was sitting there like, can't you just do it? Like, so you just know to do that? Like, just change it. And if it was wrong, I could change it back. Like, so you actually left me work to do. $1,600 later, like I should have no work to do. But I just don't know how the process works. Obviously, now I've learned a little bit. Like, I don't think in my mind I should have anything left to do, but that's not reality because again, she did not write this story. So something she's like, I have to leave as a question. And I did edit stuff. I always said, I'm like, I get that. She didn't have as many like questions because there wasn't many things I missed, but I did miss some things. I had to do a revision and I did miss some things, which is totally fine. But I'm like, I don't want to mess up the edit, even though I can't possibly, obviously, but I'm adding new parts in that I'm gonna have to go over, and I'm probably going to get another friend who edits and get her to help me do the self edits on it and edit those little parts. But again, I'm sitting there like, this is the first time I got my book edited, so I'm sitting there like, it's supposed to come back pristine and I don't have to do anything, but that's not reality, just so we're clear. Shannon said, question 2, I love it all except the beta run. Oh, it'd be nice to love it all. I kind of wish I did, but I just do not. In the beta run, yeah, a lot of people say that, but I mean, I don't know if I'll be bothered by the beta run so much because I know it's just people's opinions because it's just like any other reader that's going to purchase the book, so they're just getting it free. You know what I'm saying? So
I like the beta and alpha runs.
Yeah,
I like getting that feedback, and I like talking about my books. So I get to talk about my book before it comes out.
That would make me excited. I think I really would like the beta run, though I know some people saying because people don't finish it or whatever, but I don't really care. I mean, it's what it is. They're doing it for free anyway. So I'm looking forward to the alpha and beta run, even though the alpha run is like, first I thought I'd be stressed about it because I'm sending somebody to read it first time, but I made it through my editor critiquing it and sending it back, and she didn't say this is a dumpster fire and you really might want to start over from scratch. Hey, if I didn't get that back, I'm golden. Like, that means I did write a story that is cohesive. You understood it. You were interested in the plot points and everything. So I'm totally cool if you just decided you like Allison better than Cagliostro and didn't want to talk about Cagliostro at all. But I don't know why you wouldn't want to talk about Cagliostro, because he's hot. Like, okay, how are you focusing on Allison? Like, I mean, I'm sure she probably hot to somebody, but I mean, Cagliostro's there. How are you even focusing on her? All right, let me stop. I'm tooting my own character's horn because he is hot though. I'm just saying. Okay, y'all find out when y'all see that book cover and stuff. Y'all be like, listen. Yes, hey, very bad books. Thank you for joining us. Yes, it's the DL show tonight. This is true. How did that happen? I don't know. No, right. So, yeah, we can go ahead and start another sprint. Let's start it at the top of the hour, so 9 o'clock. So if you guys want to chat about anything, go ahead and let me know if you have any questions about anything. Because obviously you have author D.L. Stewart here, who is a published author already. So if you have any questions for him, you can throw them in the comments, and I'm sure he'll see it. And if you have any questions for me, because I'm still in the process and dealing with a cover designer who is amazing, must I say, like his art is amazing. So I'm very, very excited about that part. The cover being designed. I'm very, very excited about that. So all the planning stuff is happening. Right, Bad Book said, I'm so sorry I started streaming at the same time. It's okay. It's okay. It's a free world. You do what you want. It's okay. I'm sure like there's people that, you know, go to your stuff and then people go to our stuff and then people can
Lady Go, location.
cross over. So it's no worry. Yeah. If I can, I will. We're probably gonna be. I will. Let me see. I can probably check yours out too. So I can open it on my other screen. But yeah, I'll come check it out. Let's join forces. Yeah, we should join forces. A lot of people trying to do streams because they're trying to. You know, people have stuff to do. So a lot of people doing streams. I will check that. I will check my Facebook messages. La la la. Yeah. Okay. Is that it? That probably is it, right? Dude. Okay, yeah. I found you. I got it. It says I have to open it up in YouTube because reasons. Woo, it's hot. I'm hot. Oh yeah, I forgot to. I'm wearing my Team Spencer shirt, and DL didn't wear his Team Chase shirt. That a monstrosity of a shirt. So yeah, you guys can see the Team Spencer shirt. Oh, here we go. Team Spencer. Yeah, with a heart. And of course, you notice that Chase has had a devil's fork because he's the devil. That's right. So I got my shirt from Aphrodite. So I'm Team Spencer, obviously, and it's pink.
I was aiming on wearing mine today. I forgot.
Because you're a Chase supporter. Okay. So
I thought about it just like, I don't know, 6 o'clock or so my time. So like an hour before the stream, I was like, oh yeah, I need to change shirts, and still never did.
Don't worry, there's always next week. We battle out then.
I can put the name tag in.
We don't really need that, do we? Stop fucking around. Oh my god. Yeah, she gave me a Spencer one.
She's Team Chase.
Chase and dirty.
She's never read the book, but she's Team Chase.
You don't want to be Team Chase. Leave DL to his own terrible devices. Believe me, you don't want to be part of Team Chase.
Oh yeah.
Chase makes people flip tables.
She can fix him. That's her whole mentality.
And nobody can fix him. There ain't no fixing that man.
Oh, y'all just don't understand him like I know him.
Mm-hmm. Sure. When you turn around that knife in your bed.
Can't do that. I'm his lawyer.
Yeah, I know the lawyers do all the knife throwing. I got you.
I know them.
Regardless if he's guilty or innocent, I still get paid. I'm not going to jail.
True that.
Oh my gosh.
That's too funny. Oh my goodness. All right, so it's 9 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and start our next 15-minute sprint. Let me put the little ticker down there. 15 minutes sprint. All righty, we'll see you guys at 9:15. Happy writing. And we're back. La la la. So how did everyone do? I managed to read like 2 chapters as I went over to Barry Books stream just to say hello over there. How'd you do, Dio?
I got 145.
Cool.
I was talking a little bit and also went over there for like a split second.
Mm-hmm. Say hi. Oh.
And Rachel that was with me thought that was you at first. It's like, she's white now. I was like, this is a different stream. I'm not completely bald and I don't have red hair on.
Usually at 9 something, I transform into a white woman.
She's like, I thought she was just like looking up a different stream that she does. Like, why would I do that?
Oh yes, you found me out. This happened.
What happened?
Oh,
I can send her a story. You turn back at midnight.
I do. So gotta be quick to see it. It's not very long. Alright, it's back to the comments. Hey Dal, back to this stream and I'm still editing. Cool beans. Getting that editing done. I'm just gonna start just passing out parts and other different people to edit. Like, hey, I don't want to do this. Take it. Edit all of it. Edit it all. All right, so the third question for tonight. In your opinion, what is your strength and what is your weakness when writing? Let's see if anybody in the comments answered it. Dal says strength. People say I'm good at dialogue. Weakness, I suck at descriptions. Hey, that happens to a lot of us. What do you think, Dio? What do you think your
Like actual writing itself?
Yes. And
my weakness would be emotions, I think. That's just what I feel like. Just because I don't really pay that much attention to it. Especially more like lovey-dovey romance. That's why I don't write romance.
Really required in fantasy, so
yeah, I mean, I think more the anger and manipulating type emotions I can get by with a little bit better. But I would say that'd be my weakness and my strength. Like world building and feel like I'm decent at it. So
yeah, this is true. Since I've read Dale's books, I can say my opinion. I'm not sure he's exactly right about his weaknesses per se. I think his perspective on the emotions given are to a balance level, I would say. I think the relationships are very realistic, especially between like if you're going to go male female counterparts and stuff like that. I think the like marriages or stuff like that are very realistic. When you with somebody for a long time, it's not exactly going to be like So I think it was very realistic. I think the love interest and stuff like that are realistic, the relationships. So I would think it's not necessarily your weakness. Of course, that was your opinion, of course. But
I have to work on the most.
Yeah, I think you balance it pretty well, especially for fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy, so I thought it was done enough. Of course, and you could do more, duh. But I thought it was pretty good considering. But your world building is definitely very very well done, and he's not afraid to kill a motherfucker. Just saying.
Like I say, people gotta die. Might as well do it on the paper.
Yep. So he's not afraid to do that. Not at least, but let me see my strengths and weaknesses. I wonder what I would say with that. I would think my dialogue may be my strength, but I won't know that. As far as myself, I would think my dialogue would be one of my strengths, and weakness, possibly. Maybe I thought maybe my book would be a little repetitive because of the scene. Not a lot of scene changes. Well, maybe not just scene changes. I would say, I guess they would call it transitions, but maybe you feel like you maybe locked into one location too long. But it depends on the story, of course, obviously, and trying to find a way to make that not boring. So I'm trying to figure that out when I was writing. So hopefully I executed it rightly. But that's something I worry about. Like, is this going to be repetitive? Like, is this?
Yeah.
Because the first book is mostly in Cagliostro's manor, so I get a little worried. Well, at least for Allison, because he leaves quite often to do things. But if you were in another world behind the veil, and pretty much if you left that manor, you might just get destroyed by something that's supernatural. You probably be stuck in the manor too. Like, you probably wouldn't be like, let me just go venture out, especially if you don't know nothing about it. The first time you try that, and then you don't try it again. So that's mostly why that was. At least she had a reason to be stuck there. But I felt that hopefully I wasn't making it repetitive because of that. So
I felt that same way writing both of my Metagore books as well as the one I'm started
and now. It doesn't turn out to be the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Because I felt like every time I was having like a conversation with one of the rulers, it was either in the cabinet or their hall. And I was like, I don't want that every fucking time they're talking. I mean, they're going to be in their castle or wherever, and usually if they're talking to other rulers, that's typically where it would be at, but I felt like it was like repetitive.
It's true. That's where it would be. That's why it wouldn't be out of place.
Yeah. So when I wrote the first book, the chapter Swordplay, with Darius talking to Kai, that was the purpose of that chapter, or why I wrote it how I did, because I don't want it to be another them in their chamber or the cabinet or something. So I was like, he used to be a knight, maybe have him just kind of beating up on a mannequin with a sword. That's the only reason why I did that chapter, is because I wanted to break it up. Or not that chapter, but I mean that setting, I guess, or whatever.
I might, because I was thinking about that, because a lot of the, like, Cagliostro and Allison's conversations happen in her bedroom setting, because that's where she's standing, like, in the bedroom. So kind of a lot of their conversations happen in there, because that's pretty much where she's bound most of the time in the first book. So I kind of like, let's be a little pebbles, kind of on the balcony or in that bedroom area, or of course maybe in the dining hall, something like that. But I tried to change it up, but I'm probably gonna maybe I'm gonna add some scenes for her so she can be a little bit more in the manor, a little bit more in different places. So I'm gonna go back through there and check that out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's probably where I think my weakness is I wouldn't say description, because I think that's a writing style, because some writers are very descriptive and other ones are not. Of course, that comes down to a lot of showing and telling that can come into
and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, some people can overdo it too. Some people like reading books where it's like, the blades of grass were green because of the dew that hit it, and then it set with the water, so that type of thing. Some people like that, and other people like, they tell you that it's in the field and it was raining, and then they move on. You know what I mean? So it's different writing style. Right.
Manual and go.
Right, you don't need.
I don't need to know. I don't care.
And then that's pretty good in fantasy, I gotta tell you too, because in fantasy it could get a little carried away sometimes.
Yeah, because it's a lot of world building. I was like, that's just a lot of description.
Description can get a little carried away in fantasy.
Description world building is a little different.
Yeah, sure, but like, the descriptions can be like, you need to stop. Like, I don't need to. That's why
I want these plants to grow, like glow like purple and stuff. All right, purple glowing plants. Move on. Don't spend like a page.
Don't tell me the entire, like, a whole chapter about the forest. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of looks like a mushroom, but a little bit like a forest.
It's not shocking though, because they do that a lot with the over description sometimes. Like, and then that's why the book would be like 300,000 fucking words or something, because you just described every fucking thing of it. Like, listen, don't do that for filler. One, that's bad. Don't do that. If it comes naturally, that's how you need to do it, then that's fine. Of course, you're going to limit yourself to the market that reads. A good balance to me is always good for everything. So, not too much of it, not too little, but nothing where too little would only be if you didn't ever mention description enough for people to get into the scene. And
outside, I thought it was like in a house or something.
Right. You like sometimes write that way too, so they can let people see it their own way. Like, you give a very vague description, and then they can, if a person has imagination, then they can kind of start visualizing something themselves as the scene goes on. Now, I'm the reader that I will be fine with either way. Well, when you start going a little too much, I'm like, could we just move on?
Too much, I kind of skim over it until
right. Because I'm talking to the good part, right? So if it's less, I'm not bothered, because I have a very good imagination. So if the story's good, I get into it. I'm like in the book with the characters. So to that degree, I don't really need over description. Some people like a lot of description, but I'm not really one of them. I don't really care. But if the story's good, it could also not be a distraction if it's that well written. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. For me, if it's not enough, I kind of started imagining whatever, and then if they do mention it later on, it might take me out of the story a little bit. Like, wait, what?
You already done created like.
But if
what?
somebody ever brings it up later, I'm going to tell them what I had envisioned.
Right.
Like, yeah, it happened outside. No, like so, yeah, like the last page they said that they didn't say the rest of the story was outside.
Right. My editor mentioned something like that. She said one of the bathroom scenes in the book, and she said, well, it was kind of like it was a new part discovered later that wasn't spoke about when she first went into the bathroom for the first time. And then of course when I did the part with she recognized this closet in the back of the bathroom that actually is like a whole entire wardrobe full of stuff. And she was like, well, it's kind of like I had to like take myself out of it because then it was like a whole new part. And I'm like, well, that being said, I did say that, Allison Friends was like, I didn't notice this here before. Like, what the fuck? But it's very massive. It's a massive size bathroom. You might not go in a door. You might not even notice the door, especially since you're not thinking about it because you lost your memory and you also trying to focus on just going to take a shower. It's not your fucking house, so you might not notice another extra door back in the back of around the corner. You might not notice that. So I was like, I could get away with that, or I can just add in it was around the fucking corner and she didn't see it. But that type of thing, I don't overly go into description. I probably do a little bit more description when I write direct horror in some aspects to give you more of an ambiance, to build up the ambiance feeling of it. So you may get a little bit more description from me in that case. And usually when I'm writing like my mixture genres, I don't always overdo my description. So that was she might be used to more description too, which, there goes the opinion thing again.
Yeah, I was about to say mine, it kind of comes down to like the tone I want to set or whatever. Like you're talking about horror, you kind of want a little bit more like description, so people start kind of questioning things and like anticipating a little bit.
Right, I think it's
and then just like regular, they're walking, talking. It doesn't really matter too much.
Right.
Where they're at, just
get the dialogue going. Yeah, Dal, I agree. It's like too much visual description will make me DNF. Yep. But like I'm doing with this book, I'm not reading this. It's too boring. Like I've come across stuff like that. You know what I mean? And also, it's funny. I was talking to my brother yesterday about because horror. I did that video on like my 10 categories of horror or whatever, and cosmic horror being my favorite type of horror. And as a lot of people may or may not know, that it is cosmic horror written by Stephen King. And they have it under psychological horror, which it should be on psychological cosmic horror because it is a cosmic being in the story. Though I will say, I do like Stephen King. I do like a lot of his stories. I don't really care for it as a book, honestly. A lot of people like it. I like it as a movie, and I like it for it being cosmic horror. Just that Stephen King writing cosmic horror is a little laughable because his cosmic beings is kind of pathetic in a way. It's probably one of the most pathetic beings in cosmic I've probably seen. So I'm kind of glad he didn't write much more other. He didn't write much other cosmic horror in the future because it was kind of like meh. And I heard too that his stories are connected as far as it being like throughout his universe or whatever. Some said that Randall Flagg in The Stand was also it being an entity because it doesn't have a sex. So it was set to that was kind of female possibly because they had like babies or whatever. But I think it's more like most cosmic beings don't have a specific sex. They can, but a lot of them don't. But the whole way, like most people seen it, but the way that the cosmic being was defeated, air quote defeated, and it was kind of like, really? Like, like the way it was, I know he built it up and everything. It's like, in most cases, cosmic beings are going to win the day. Because they're unbeatable in most cases. Usually once you bring cosmic being into a story, the villain's possibly going to win because you can't really be a cosmic being in most cases because of how they come to be, what they do to a world with just their mere presence. And he did do it subtly, especially with the town and everything, how people were just like kind of off a little bit and they just ignore him when stuff was going down and everything like that. And then, he wanted to eat and devour, and that's why he got kicked off his plane. I say he, but it really was like a she or whatever. But I don't know. It wasn't the best representation of a cosmic being, especially when the end came in. And if you read the book, though, compared to the movie, it doesn't really get resolved. So he did get that right in a way, but still the fact that it was defeated kind of sort of by the kids, or they were adults at that point, was kind of like not possible. Like Cosmic Being could just end you in like 2 seconds. But of course they play with you a lot too. So that could be the buildup of how the Cosmic Being could possibly be defeated, but not likely. Even in it kind of was like people, it seemed like that it was beaten, but even at the end of it, they still started forgetting. So if they were forgetting, once they were still leaving that town, even though actually it wasn't anything left, it was more like a crater was just left for the town, they still kind of were forgetting after that. So that kind of gave us the clue that they still didn't really kill it. Seeing as how cosmic beings just kind of exist on multiple planes, you can't really defeat them. If you did manage to defeat them on one plane, they still exist on X amount of other planes. So technically they can just reappear anytime they want to. So you kind of like once you come up against a cosmic being, you're pretty much screwed. Or it's kind of like a DL book happens. Like everybody's dying. Like everybody living in it. You suspect everybody die. But yeah, so I really like cosmic horror because of that.
You're right. Cosmic beings, like I wrote kind of Aphria, which is not really a cosmic horror being, or but she's the goddess. She's like, yeah, I can do whatever
I want. Nobody gonna do.
And it's even mentioned in the first book or whatever, because they have a law of magic, which is just you can't use it on living things. You know, magic just doesn't work on anything living. And there's a scene where she's using it on a character, and he's like, well, what kind of dark magic is this? He's like, I'm a fucking goddess. I can do whatever the fuck I want, basically. It's like, call me a goddess. You expect me to, you know, have to follow y'all's laws?
I like her personality, dude. Like, I really do. Her conversations when she says shit, like, try to converse with her is hilarious.
I kind of went a little bit deeper into who, like, her being or whatever in the second book.
Yeah.
And stuff. But
that's pretty good. Like, I was like, I really like her. She's like, I like her and Darius. And you know, I didn't really think I would like Darius because
see, I tell y'all gotta root for the villains.
Well, when you write them.
Yeah. Because like when I talk to people about him and Azrael, Azrael to me is
it's weird because it's a little hard for me to see Darius as a villain. And that's very odd. I know he's supposed to be like, but I'm not seeing him that way. Maybe the further I get into book 2, then maybe something I have, but I'm not seeing him that way. I'm kind of like understanding where he's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when I talk to people, they're like, Darius is bad. I see Azrael's more bad. Azrael's more the one that's just like, he's going to be two-faced regardless, just to benefit him. Darius has a reason. He's racist against elves because of the way elves portray themselves. Yeah. And it's
not unheard of.
He doesn't like his father or his brother and stuff. But he got along with his mother. He got along with his sister. He has a lover. Lover has a child or is pregnant with a child or whatever. Yeah. And, he's got good
stuff going on. He got stuff going on.
He's controlling and he wants things his way.
Yeah, there are people like that. Yeah, he's very realistic. He's very realistic. So, I mean, I kind of like, I'm interested in his character.
Morally great character.
Yeah, he's, everybody, and when you come down to that, you're going to be a villain to someone, you know what I mean? Especially if you're talking about anyone who's a leader or someone who is royalty or whatever type of leader or political things going on, you're going to be someone's villain. Like, even there's like X amount of people that love you and like you or think you're a good leader, there's going to be people over here that don't think you are at all, for their own reasons. Because everything stems down to some kind of personal thing, you know what I mean? And it's, you could break it down and be like, why do I like this person or why do I dislike this person, whatever. It's probably going to come down to something personal, no matter how you look, rather it's your upbringing or whatever, your upbringing, your compass. You could agree with something they said. So that being the case, you're probably, you're going to be okay with it and other people are not okay with it. So that's kind of how I'm doing Darius at this point. Like, I don't really have any reason to dislike him. Him disliking elves isn't that big a deal. Like, I've seen that before. And some elves, depending on the elf race, can come off like assholes a lot of time. High elves can be kind of assholey a lot because they're kind of like high and mighty, like they're better than everybody too. I'm better than you. They'll even do that to the elves. They'll be like, oh, you're a wood elf, so get your dirty life out of my face. Like, or like dark elves are treated terrible, whatever, by the high elf, like elves or whatever. You know what I mean? That's why Dritz had such a problem. But they all have that issue, so it's not like every elf is created equal. So, but if you hate a certain elf race, you could extend that over to the other elves because you know that's kind of like human nature. Humans do that all the time. You know what I mean? So I definitely can see that concept of him and like you need listen to her. It's like Ariel's not gonna be bad, my boy. Like I'm gonna hear that shit. I'll fuck you
You
up.
might need anger management from time to time.
Just a little bit. Just just a little bit. Like, you know, be like, listen, Darius.
Like he tells Kai, like in the first book, like his
Mhm.
punishments to him are just. And he kind of explains some of it.
Mhm.
You steal something, I'm cutting off your finger. You steal some more, I'm cutting off your hand.
I can agree with him a little bit. Now I wasn't, and you know, Val Tempest the Impaler. Like
Yeah.
I could see, like, you know, people be like, you know, he was really hard, man. Like he was a bit of tyranny because, you know, like if people have committed adultery or something, he'd be like, okay, let's say it was a female and she committed adultery and got pregnant, he would impale her with the spear with the baby was born. Like he impale her and the baby together and like decap the baby or something and impale her through the vagina and then through the mouth or something like that. Like he was very hardcore. Like you break one of his laws, like he destroy you. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
like
why they really made Dracula from him and everything. But that being said, I could see, you know, if he's a ruler and he made those rules, I mean, that's hardcore right there. Like, but you know, I can be hardcore. That's why sometimes, you know, females, they think females as leaders would be like, oh, you know, there's been some pretty hardcore female leaders throughout time that were cold as ice. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know how far you've gotten into book 2, but Allure.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, first book you don't really know much about her,
Right, you don't.
and then the second book you start seeing all this stuff. You're like, this is the same person in the first book?
Right. Then the true side come out. Like I like
Yeah.
that though. You know, so I'm like that listen, I always said like if I was like so people say that's inhumane. You're like, well, they ain't humans anyway. Sometimes humans can be the monster themselves. I mean, that's not a lie. There have been some pretty bad humans throughout time who are very tyranny and will kill you. Like you prison, they be laughing at prison nowadays. Like what? You get what kind of food and you going to college and you going lifting weights and of course you gonna get
Watch
you know
TV, play
sex
pool.
that you don't want in prison, but in some cases you all the stuff you get in prison back in the day you be like you might be back in the day you go in a dungeon you gonna get some breadcrumbs if you lucky and some water like some
You're gonna work your ass off.
and you're gonna work your ass off too. Like there is no visits and phone calls and TV or whatever the entertainment would have been like reading books. No, you didn't get treated like a human. You got rid of your rights. You were in prison. You know what I mean? So now it's like, oh, that's why a lot of people like going. They go back and forth in jail too to be like, oh, because this is the life. Like I don't gotta pay rent and stuff. I mean, some of the mentality, some of the people that go to jail who want to, not the people, you know, that they do not.
Goes in and out all the
I have
time.
family members that's like police force and stuff like that. And they tell you about the mentality of these prisoners, a lot of prisoners, the ones that are, you know, like that life, you know. But there are people that in that life who like that life, who like go in and out of prison all the time. Not people that's in it as innocent, who did not want to go to jail and stuff, but you got the people that really like that life, like they're in and out of there all the time. So that concept, like, because really you get a lot of stuff being in prison when you think about it. Like, I think if you less was given to you in there, you'd be less inclined to want to go back in there. And I mean, that's a tough life in general in there. Like, I don't think the stuff that they give you is worth like what can happen to you in prison. Like,
the stricter and the worse the punishments are, the more inclined you are to behave.
That's true. If you like, oh,
Whatever.
you stole something and only how many offenses you gonna how many chances you gonna get? With this baseball, you get one chance. You stole something, one of your fingers gone. Less people probably stealing though. Oh, you are a child molester. You rape the child, your genitals are gone. Like if they did that kind of hardcore stuff, I think crime rate probably that would drop it. I mean, that's cruel. That could be cruel.
And that's Darius's mindset. It was very militaristic.
Doing it, Darius would be like, listen.
It's like
Darius
those,
dude. You know,
it's like those elves he had or whatever. Fucking had their eyes like fish hooks in their eyelids to hold them open, or whatever. And they was like, "What's that for?" It's like they used to force me to watch them punish my mom or whatever. So I'm making them watch while I punish somebody else that they know.
Exactly. Like he ain't forgetting. Like,
so you did it to me, I'm doing it to you tenfold.
Hello, DR Ranger writing. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, dude, like, listen, That's what we expect from DL books, though. But I like Darius, so I'm interested to see
I do
where he
too.
goes. You know, I actually like him. And I don't like many villains. And like when you like a villain, you kind of like hoping that they don't lose, and it feels so bad.
It's like, come on.
I want you to win this a little bit. No, I actually like Darius, so I felt bad for some of the characters in the first book, though. Like at the end, like when they got like some of the murders, the death scenes, though, I was like, damn, man, what the fuck did you do in your other life? Karma kept knocking hard for
With
you.
the fucking
Like,
Dresden
I
and
was
stuff.
like shocked. My mom was like, did that just happen? I didn't see that coming. Like,
yeah, I know you said about the Dresden scene or whatever.
I was like, dude. I mean, what's that one that really surprised me? That I didn't see it coming. Oh yeah, like the cliff scene. What's his name? I forget his fucking name. It was like the troll dude, and they were like fighting on the cliff, and then in the whole cliff scene, we like go over. I didn't see that coming. Like I didn't, even though it should have been obvious.
Oh, on the balcony.
Yeah, like I didn't see that coming. I was like, wait, is he dead? I thought he was gonna what?
Yep.
My brother was looking at me like, what you reading? I'm like, dude, DL not playing with these people, man.
First chapter.
I know. I was like,
I told y'all, Mom, there might not be a war in the second book. There's death.
Yeah, there's death happening. Like I'm like waiting every time. Like I read somebody now, I'm like, well, I wonder how long you're gonna last.
Yeah.
How long are you gonna last on the DL train? Like time for you to stop. You've gotten in the station. It's time for you to go.
And then what was the other one? Being flayed like dragons and trigons.
Right, dude. Yes. Oh, and oh my God, what's her name? The dude's sister, dude. When she got destroyed by that summoning thing that the goddess sent that pretty much destroyed her.
In the first one, yeah.
Dude, that was like
and then when you read like later when they like other people find that room and it's talking about there's still blood stains and you can see in the floor like the claw marks where she's trying to crawl out from under it while it's trying to
man, when I had to read that scene like 3 times. I'm messed up.
I feel you might have liked that one.
I was like, when I was like, oh, my brother was like, what are you? I'm like, DL did her dirty, man. I did not see that coming. I didn't know how she was gonna die. I was like, listen, damn.
Yeah, that dude was kind of pissed off about it too.
Oh well, yeah. I was like, I wasn't attached to her, so it was a good. Oh wow! And I like how the other dude kept denying, like, listen.
I don't know. He was like mad. He's like, I didn't want it to happen.
Like I didn't tell her to do it. I was like backed out of that when I went. She was like, listen.
Yeah. It's like you don't ask for what the payment is for a job if you don't want that job done.
Like, why'd you even that was the deal. You came here, you came to talk to me.
That's how much it was. I told you I did it. You're paying me for it.
You're paying me for it. You say you didn't want it, but you came to see me. So I bet her face is like nonchalant all the time, like she was talking to people. Like, that's what's happening. So
yeah. Well, try to fucking swindle me. I'm a fucking goddess, all right? I know what's going on.
That's so good. Oh my God. But yeah, so we could do one more sprint. We're at like 9:45, so we can do another 15. See what we got going on, and then we will wrap up. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna count us out. 3, 2, 1, and right. See you in 15. And we're back. And we're back. How did everyone do? I did manage to read another chapter. Had to run off and do stuff real quick. But I did manage to read one more chapter. So, one step closer to being complete.
I got 142 words done.
Cool veins. Oh boy.
I'm really enjoying this character. I think I mentioned to you before, I'm writing a Kreider, which is like my fish folk type race, who has taught himself like sleight of hand. So he proclaims that he can do magic just like the Jins and the Liches can. So I'm writing like when he's first introduced in the story, kind of scamming people in a card game and shit. And somebody calls him out, I was like, how are you cheating? He's like, I know magic. It's like, no, you can't do magic. How are you cheating?
That's too funny. I love that.
Yep.
That's awesome. I like that. Oh my goodness. So, I think most of our audience have tickered off. So we're gonna go ahead and do our closings. We did get through 3 sprints and 3 good questions. Got some word and talking about DL's books, which is always fun to talk about.
Oh, I'll do that all day.
I know, right? I feel you on that.
I think any author would talk about that book.
Excited, right, about that.
You're like, right. You got to read this part, and then
this part, and you talk about the characters to get all excited about that.
Spoilers.
I hope you don't mind. So, whoops. All right, that's too funny. All right, I'll let you go ahead and do your closeouts.
I'm Dale Stewart. I write adult medieval fantasy. My debut novel, The Battle for Medagore, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books Depository, Walmart, a bunch of other places. I have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Patreon, a website, YouTube, newsletter. Everything's DL Stewart author, so it should be easy to search. Yeah, I've been uploading weekly videos on Mondays and Thursdays right now. For my Do You Hate Me Yet series, which is continuing throughout this month. And then I do my write-ins on Sundays at 7 Eastern.
Yep, that's right. All right, I'm author DL Tillery, and this is my channel. I do streams on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Aphrodite Lee and I usually share that thing, but she's going to be out of it for a little bit, so I will be doing the streams on my channel at 8 p.m. until she's back in the game. I do upload my Mistress of Horror series on Saturdays, usually around 6 p.m. or before. That really depends on what's happening, but 6 p.m. likes to be the time that you look for it. But if you ring that bell, you'll get the ding, and I have a yelling little 3-year-old in the background. That's horror on its own. So check out my horror series if you're interested in horror. I like to talk about different aspects of horror. That's video games and horror, stories, movies, and books. So I like to dibble and dabble in those areas for horror because there's always all kinds of great stories in different aspects of that. So if you catch my episode last week, I talked about a video game called Eternal Darkness that had an extremely good cosmic horror story that was very well put together. That should not be missed. I really wish there could have been a film so a lot more people could know about that story because it was very, very good. But my next episode will be coming up on this Saturday. That's probably going to be a little bit about some writing and horror. So look forward to that. And I will be in the next couple of months getting my self-edit done for Kali Astral Tale of Light Virgin, which is my debut novel, and I'll be looking for betas. So I will be doing a beta call video. Plus, I have a list of other betas. So hopefully I can get a big lump sum of betas, and then it can trickle down because it always seems to trickle down. So we'll see what happens. But you guys will be in the loop on that. So I will see you then. And DL, if you're streaming this Sunday, then I will join you this Sunday because I actually don't have any dance stuff this now, so I can
I might put it back an hour or something. I don't know. Rachel's here. She's planning on leaving Sunday.
Okay.
I think last time she was here, she left about 6 Eastern y'all's time. So I don't know if she'll still leave at that point, or it might be later, it might be earlier. I don't know.
Whatever way you want to do one. I'll be free Sunday night, so I'll hang with DL on Sunday, and then I'll be back on Tuesday. But y'all look for my video on Saturday. Well, thank you for writing with us, and we're gonna roll on out of here. We'll see you on Sunday night on DL's channel. Bye.
Peace.
They'll be all right without us for a little bit.